Okay, let's be real. Are you tired of pouring your heart and soul into social media just to watch some algorithm change completely tank your reach overnight? It's exhausting, right? So what if you could build a direct and unshakable connection with your audience, one that you actually truly own? Well, today we are breaking down why an email newsletter isn't just nice to have, it's the single most powerful asset for your business.
So, how are we going to do this? Here is our playbook for today. First, we're going to dig into why newsletters absolutely blow social media out of the water. Then, we'll get our hands dirty with the practical stuff. How to craft content that actually connects, writing subject lines people literally can't ignore, keeping your design simple, and finally, and this is a big one, how to turn your newsletter from a one-way street into a real conversation. You ready? Let's dive in.
All right, first things first, let's tackle the biggest headache for so many of us right now. It's this feeling that we're building our beautiful businesses on land that we're just renting.
I mean, does this sound familiar? Do you spend hours creating the perfect piece of content? You hit post, and then crickets. You are completely at the mercy of a platform's crazy, ever-changing rules about who even gets to see your stuff. It is such a frustrating and honestly an unreliable way to build a real business.
And this, right here, is where the whole power dynamic just flips. Just look at this breakdown. On social media, you're basically a tenant. You're always subject to the landlord's whims. But with an email list, you're the homeowner. You own the land, you have a direct line right into your audience's inbox, with no algorithm getting in the middle. And the best part, it's a relationship built on permission. They literally invited you in.
And the numbers totally back this up. Think about it for a second. A really good social media post might be seen by, 5% of your followers if you're lucky? But with email, we're talking average open rates between 20 and 30%. That is a huge chunk of your audience actively choosing to hear from you. There's just no way social media can compete with that level of direct engagement.
So here's the bottom line, the most crucial point. Your email list is a real business asset. It is a direct line to your audience that you control, something that lets you build actual trust and credibility over time, completely independent of any one platform. Okay, so you've got people to sign up? Awesome. But now comes the really important part, making them want to stay. See, building that list is just the first step. To really earn their trust and attention, you have to deliver undeniable value. It's all about giving and giving and giving, long before you ever ask for anything in return.
And the foundation of any great newsletter is the 80-20 rule. This is so simple but so powerful. 80% of your content needs to be pure value. I'm talking educating, inspiring, solving a real problem for your reader. It should feel like you're having a helpful conversation, not like you're delivering a sales pitch. Only 20% is for promotion. When you do it this way, you build so much trust that when you finally do have something to offer, your audience isn't just ready to listen, they're actually excited to support you.
And instead of just spitting out a bunch of dry facts, wrap your value up in a story. This simple framework right here is incredibly effective. Start with the why. Maybe it's a personal story or a client struggle. Then explain the how. Give them the steps, the solution. And finally, show them what's next, a super clear action they can take. It just makes your content so much more human and memorable.
All right, we've got our amazing, value-packed content ready to go. But how do we get people to actually open the email in the first place? Well, it all comes down to the subject line. Think of it as your 5-second audition in a very, very crowded inbox.
I mean, just let this sink in. This stat from copywriter Alex Catoni is just staggering. Almost half of your subscribers will decide whether or not to even read your email based on just a few words. That's why you should seriously spend just as much time crafting your subject line as you do writing the actual email. It's that important.
So how do you write a good one? Let's look at a few killer examples. This one from the creator by Rosanna is just brilliant. Shutting down. It creates this massive curiosity gap. You're immediately thinking, shutting what down? The business? A project? A service? You just have to click to find out what's going on. Now this one works for a very similar reason. It hints at some kind of difficulty or a test, but it doesn't give away any of the details. It frames the content as something intriguing, maybe even something the reader wants to test themselves against.
And this one is all about relatability. It taps directly into a shared frustration that so many people are feeling. When you see this in your inbox, your immediate reaction is, yes, finally, somebody gets it. That feeling of being seen and understood is an incredibly powerful motivator to open that email. So what's the common thread here? Well, all these tactics, they work.
because they tap into basic human psychology, whether it's curiosity, a sense of urgency, relatability, or just a direct question. They all give the reader a reason to care. But, and this is the golden rule, never ever be clickbaity. The content inside has to deliver on the promise you made in that subject line. Trust is absolutely everything.
Okay, that killer subject line worked. They opened the email, mission accomplished, right? Well, not quite. Now, the actual experience of reading it has to deliver. It's got to be clean, it's got to be simple, and it has to be consistent if you want them to keep opening your emails week after week.
This right here is totally non-negotiable. In today's world, something like 80% of all emails are opened on a phone. So if your newsletter makes someone pinch and zoom just to read it, guess what? It's getting deleted. You have to design for the phone first. And if you do that, it'll look great everywhere else.
I want you to think one word, skimmable. People are busy, so use short paragraphs, clear subheadings, and lots of white space to make your email super easy to scan. Your goal is for someone to grasp the main points in just a few seconds. Make it effortless for them.
And finally, you have to build a habit. Honestly, whether you send your newsletter every week, every 2 weeks, or once a month doesn't matter nearly as much as just being consistent. Showing up in their inbox on the same day, around the same time, builds this incredible anticipation and makes you a reliable, welcome part of their routine.
Okay, for our final section, let's talk about what I think is the most powerful part of all of this: how to transform your email from a one-way broadcast into a two-way conversation. This is how you build a real, thriving community.
Before you hit send on any newsletter, I want you to ask yourself this one simple question. What is the job of this email? And listen, the answer can't always be to sell something. Sometimes the job is simply to connect, or to teach, or just to start a conversation.
So instead of always having a buy now button, try using these engagement-focused calls to action. Asking your readers to just hit reply is so incredibly powerful. It makes them feel heard, it gives you priceless feedback, and it actually signals to email providers like Gmail that your messages are wanted, which helps you deliverability. It's a win-win-win.
So let's bring this all home. At the end of the day, a newsletter is not just another marketing channel on your list. It is a community-building engine. It's your own private platform for creating real, lasting relationships with the people who are the absolute lifeblood of your business. It's the one true asset you own. So I'm going to leave you with this one final thought to chew on. If you had to bet your entire business on a single channel to connect with your audience, which one would you choose? The one you rent or the one you own?